Hey YouTubers, it's Andy back here at the project, and welcome to another video. I know it's been a few days, but I have been seriously bummed down and heads up. Been working on the boat trying to get ready. It looks like Thursday we're splashing in the water. Rachel teaches a course in the morning on Wednesday. We were going to go in then, but it's a little too chaotic to try to have her teach and lift at the same time. So they're going to hook us up with the crane and throw us in the water. I'll show you where they're going to do that here in a moment. Today, big changes, big strides, that whole thing about getting ready to go in the water. I've got a few projects to show you this morning, but first a small rant. You know, all the time that I've been in business and been a basketball coach and an educator and all that stuff is just the pettiness of people drives you crazy. So, you know, we got this letter the other day from somebody who has a business name similar to ours. But if you Google it, ours comes up first in the thing. And so they trademarked their name, and now they would like us to cease and desist using Whole You Coaching. Because apparently they fear the competition. Now, they are a life coach themselves, but apparently they can't coach themselves enough to get clients and stuff with us out there at the same time. They don't realize that changing the name isn't going to change the fact that we get clients and run courses and have a successful business. So we could fight and whine. I just can't be bothered, honestly. I've had lots of different business names, including just using my own name. And so we're going to go back to that. So all of you, soon we're going to change this over. It will no longer be Whole You Coaching, or the place formerly known as Whole You Coaching. We will be under Rachel's website, which is Rachel Lauren Coaching. So, you know, we can go there. We'll get you set up and transfer you across all of our subscribers and our Facebook people and all that stuff. And if not, we'll send you a quick message so you can go through and help us out by clicking on the new thing. I feel sorry for this person who runs this business, Whole You. You know, I wish them the best, but realistically, if this is what they want to take their time doing, you know, they had to get a lawyer and the whole bit to do this. They could have spent the time better by going out and finding some clients and making their business more successful and not worrying about us. It's one great thing that I heard from a famous basketball coach, Bobby Knight. And he said he never bothered scouting anybody else, because why worry about them? Worry about his own team and making them the best possible, and then they could play any opponent. They didn't have to watch tons of film and worry about what the other team is going to do. Let's just worry about what our team is doing. And that goes for everything in life. Worry about cleaning up your own area, your own life, your own house, getting your own self successful, rather than worrying about the guy next door or the person down the street who's more successful or anything else. Worry about what you're doing. Take care of your business and everything will be fine. All right, enough ranting for today. So, you know, we're on a mega budget here. I'm always on a mega budget when I'm doing the boats. So there's a few things that we've done that have gone. So number one thing, you will remember, now I need to be able to switch this camera. I had, if you look up there, a Rutland wind charger, and it was old and didn't produce hardly any electricity, and it was a great trickle charger. And I posted it in the video, and thanks very much to Scott Brown Multi-Hulls, who's been watching our videos, and you know, I've dealt with Scott, you know, on 2 boats now, plus contacting him about information about boats and, you know, just general knowledge. He's got so much knowledge, and he's helped me out heaps. Came through with a brand new AirX 400 for us. Can't thank him enough for this. It's amazing. Got it all hooked up again in the theory of more sort of traditional stuff, and you know, I read Lynn and Larry Party's stuff that said, you know, before they fasten anything permanently, they lash it up. Well, I'm lashing this permanently to the arch. I thought, what a great way just to hold it in place, and it's already had some good winds, and you know, it held in place, didn't vibrate, didn't make any noise, didn't shake all over the place. I guess we'll see what happens when we're at sea, but for right now, this is working great. So thanks very much, Scott Brown. Perfect thing. Now, again, in the whole thing, had to make a dive ladder. So I bought a hardware ladder to use, and it turned into scaffold. It was one of those folding ladders. And what I did was I chopped it in half and put it on here. So it still folds up. I'm not going to bother folding it now, but I've lashed it in place, and I think I'm going to leave it lashed in place. It works good. Held my weight. It jumped up and down on it. It doesn't swing under the boat. It's good solid aluminum, and yeah, I'm liking it. It is a worthwhile thing, and I was going to have to get rid of the ladder, you know, when we left here, and it wasn't going to be worth anything. So I thought, I'll just give it a fold up. I thought, what a better idea just to repurpose this one. Now I've kept the other one because it can turn into a gangplank and a short ladder, probably 5 feet tall. So, you know, I thought, hey, what a great way to repurpose this, and I keep the other part if I need a short ladder or whatever. Now, you'll see hanging here, looks rude, but it is just the sounder transducer. And on our old Warmpahi 42 Gilligan, the transducer was on a pole that led up through the swim deck, and it would just lower itself. If I can catch this, it would just lower itself on the pole down into the water. And so that is what I'm going to do with this. I'm going to take it and basically just attach a pole, run it up through the deck, and run it alongside the wind charger pole, and drop it in the water when we need it and pull it out when we don't. So that is working good. I think it's going to be a good system. I got a Hummingbird GPS Chartplotter sounder this time. Never had one before. It seems like a nice little unit. The actual unit itself is going to be mounted down here. I have to shape the mount for it yet, but just built a little aluminum mount. It'll mount on there. This is just an access panel, so it's no worries to just move it and get it out of the way. Got our wind instrument installed, a Clipper wind. Quite a simple system, but worked really good. Hooked up nice once I figured out what wires needed to be put in here and there and everywhere, because they do have a secret little wiring system that is boat's a little slippery this morning because it's very chilly out. Nice clear night, and so I'm going to try not to fall. Now, Jamie Watts Sales here. Watts Sales, he's the fellow that's making our sails, and he also helped source for quite low cost these brand new Selden jib tracks and cars. So we got those installed, and he helped me figure out the angle of attack and all that stuff with them. So we are good to go there. All spars still needs to come back and finish the mast. They've got to straighten out some stays. They've got to attach the bridle properly. They've got to put the seagull striker on. I'm hoping they're coming in the next day or two because we are ready to go in. The inner jib, which will run off the bridle stay there, I've hooked up to just two simple mounts. On the Flicka, it just had two blocks just attached, and it was quite sufficient for that. And when I talked to Jamie about that, because it's quite a small inner jib, you know, it's going to be a very small triangle. Great for, it'll be our upwind sail, and it'll be a great storm sail. It has one reef in it. So we can make it into a very small triangle, 3 reefs in the main, and have a good storm sail. But we'll just run it through a single car, which will be fine. Now, there is the big crane that they're going to lift us with. So it's going to stay right where it is. And they're going to swing it over here, hook us up, and then somehow swing us over, I think around behind him. They need to move those boats that are in the water right there, and they're going to plunk us down Thursday morning around 11 a.m. on high water right in there. And then we'll just motor around the marina here, and they're going to put us on a dock, I think, over on the Plymouth side of the marina, where we'll sit for a week or 10 days while we finish up the rest of the jobs and provision and finish up the course that Rachel's teaching right now, and then we will head off to the Med. You can see there's here in Millbrook, there's, you know, a lot of boats, and cool thing is there's a lot of old vessels, you know, that people are actually working on to you know, get them ready to go. Solar's been working great. We've been off shore power now since we installed them. And of course, now with the wind charger, we are good to go. So, hey, again, thanks to Scott Brown Multi-Hulls, for hooking us up. We tested the motor the other day. That was a mission. We finally had to put a big wooden box down to hold a garbage bag that we filled with water to test the engine. It worked perfectly. So thanks to Nigel over at Hatsu Engines, for his help in making sure that we had it all hooked up correctly and it was ready to go. And then, of course, I purchased a little Honda for a dinghy. Just an air-cooled 2-horse. We had one before. It worked great. Well, it worked great until it wouldn't start and we had to swim the dinghy home, but all little motors are like that. This one fired up first go, so that was a real good buy. It's a used motor, but a real good buy. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So, hey, remember, it's Andy here on the project, now with Rachel Lauren coaching. Thanks to the pettiness of somebody else with a business name associated with ours. You could try to Google them, but you probably won't find them. So switch yourself over. If not, we'll find a way to switch yourself over. I hope you enjoyed this video. Project's moving along. Launch date will be lots of champagne and a lot of nerves with that crane lifting me up. Hey, it's Andy signing off. Take care.